What up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Ken Ross Present, the Yeah, I Said It podcast. We express you with our full capabilities to the one and correctional facilities. Brainchild of mine, child. I am the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper, coming to you live and in public, if you will. As always, I am rocking with the best. First off, my co-host, please introduce yourself to the folk.
My trials in the fiery crucible made me hot. Yeah, well, what's up, everybody? I was having a good day, month, year, hour. Shout out to Jay Electronica for that. Hope everybody's having a good day, month, hour, second, year, minute. If you watch on the platform, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, your enemies, your pets, alien outside, mailman. I don't know, Trump. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe, because if you don't, Civil War's coming tomorrow. Let's go.
You're just speeding up the process, apparently. But yes, finally, have a guest on this show. Very good friend of the show, very good friend of mine, an awesome human being. Many conversations about all kind of just rebellious anti shit. But I am so glad to have her here. My friend, gonna be your friend, gonna love her. If not, that's your problem. Harmony.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, thank you for coming out. Thank you for
I,
coming
I
out.
don't got a cool intro. I'm just, what's up?
That is totally cool. That is totally cool. You will show them soon enough why you are here. We've been having a lot of really cool conversations for the setup. So now I'm gonna dive into it. First up, this was kind of weird. Kentucky has introduced a child support bill for before the kid is actually born. So it's essentially child support while pregnant, which is I will resist the Kentucky jokes, but this seems political. Like, like why? What? Who brought up? Like, hey, let's give child support for while you're pregnant. And I'm like, yeah, but what if y'all still together? What if yes, to from the Associated Press, Kentucky Senate passes bill to grant the right to collect child support for unborn children. I'm just make it make sense for me. It doesn't uh so of all the things that could be possibly going on in Kentucky, this is what they're doing here. And Republican-led Kentucky Senate voted overwhelmingly to grant the right to collect child support for unborn children. And I'm like, and it passed 36-2. It wasn't even close. I'm curious what the two people thought. They might be thinking like me. But I'm like, the only time I can see this makes any sense is it if the mom was on welfare, social services during pregnancy. I guess the state is saying, well, we're going to recoup that. If you got food stamps or whatever during pregnancy, is the state trying to say, well, we need to recoup that money? Like, I don't,
Less the food stamps, more Medicaid. Yes, but also they, it's like I really think they heard women's rights advocates saying, if you're going to consider the fetus a person at 6 weeks, does that mean we can collect child support at 6 weeks? Does that mean we can collect, state benefits or tax breaks on the child at 6 weeks? Can we get insurance, life insurance out on the fetus at 6 weeks? Those are the questions that women's rights advocates asked, and Republicans heard, oh, we need to allow them to collect child support uh, while the fetus is still in the womb.
I,
It's idiotic. It's dumb as hell.
so, because the only way this makes any sense to me is if, okay, say you get somebody pregnant and y'all not together, but wait, this is my thing. Does it paternity have to be established? It's the only thing I think of the major just gonna make this retro. Like, okay, once we figured out you're the dad, we're just gonna back this up a little further. So on top of whatever you owe retroactively, we're gonna tack on these extra 9 months. Mm.
So that's the thing. This bill in its original form did not have a term limit. So now a woman can only seek child support from the other parent up until the child turns 1 year old. One day after their 1 year old birthday, um, that mother cannot collect custody or child support rather. So they have to go to court within the first year of that child's life, and there has to be a child support agreement in place within that first year, and they can retro it from conception. But if they don't go to if they don't go to court in the first year, so say they're married or in a happy relationship, if they go to court when the baby's 6, 5, 2, she can't get child support from when she was pregnant.
Oh, okay. And just I don't know. I haven't looked at Kentucky's. See, it's hard for me to say certain things and not have it appear to be northern bias. Um, I'll say gently, I just would think Kentucky has better things to worry about. But okay.
Like
Uh,
what?
That part.
What
Because
is
look at
wrong
their
with
fucking
Kentucky?
public education system.
It's everywhere.
no, no, fail. Like I do know last time I looked, West Virginia has like the worst public school test
Well,
scores.
we know the answer to that.
No, not
So that's why I asked that. So, but Kentucky, I don't know if they do that there, but maybe they do. I don't know. I'm
you
not gonna say it, but everyone knows. That's why you're laughing. So here you go. If you know, you know.
you try to get us
I didn't
banned.
even say nothing. I just said, hey, if you know, you know. You can't ban me for something I didn't say.
I mean, I think West Virginia borders Kentucky. Now, if I'm wrong on that, now I'm gonna let the goofball.
Well, never mind. Never mind. There's the answer.
It just seems like the Colonel, KFC, just Kentucky has the horses and the Derby. Like I would think Kentucky got
No,
better.
look, listen. You pay for your chicken while they're cooking it.
What kind of they
So
clone? They clone Tyrone?
I'm just trying to think like a Kentuckian, okay? If you pay for your KFC while they cooking it, then why shouldn't you pay for your child while it's still cooking?
That's bars.
Bars, right?
Just saying. It is fucking dumb, but it makes sense when you put it like that.
Yeah, but you gotta make sure that food is well done and actually cooked all the way through. Because I mean, there's no guarantee it could come out wrong.
You gotta make sure it's chicken.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Make
that's
sure
true.
it's not a rat. Like, how you gotta DNA test that thing.
Well, you gotta make sure the thing survives. They gotta make it past this. Like, there's no guarantee.
And
I don't
that's
wish
the
there
whole
was.
thing is with this law, if it goes through the House and it passes, they won't be able to collect child support from conception in actuality. They will have to wait until the child is born, establish paternity, and then retroactively order child support, which is then just going to put a lot of men in debt and subject to imprisonment as a result of that debt, because I'm pretty confident, but I haven't looked this up, so correct me if I'm wrong. I know here in Texas, they send men to prison for back child support, and they can do the same thing. As far as I know, they do the same thing in many southern states. I know they do it in Georgia, but I don't know about Kentucky for sure.
They need to do it
So
out.
it feels like just creating more slavery, you know?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Well, the baby
Sadly,
never gets here. I don't have to worry about that. See, and that's where the other problem comes in. And it's not a joke, man. Even though it sounds like one, but hey, you gonna have to pay attention to the rates of pregnant women dying. I did see a stat that it has gone up. So
Jesus.
now with this can make it even worse. So yeah. Be safe out there, lady.
I mean, but see, this is where conversations like this take a turn because the bottom line is, yo, no face, no case. Like, yo, strap up, problem solved, problem solved.
Or don't show up. You can't find me.
No face. See,
That's
there
what
you
some
go.
people do. That's what I'm not advising that, but that's what some people would do.
No, I'm just saying, like, listen, if you exercise control over your smaller brain, you ain't got them kind of problems. That-
Well, I
Real,
guess.
real, 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 real simple.
Yeah.
You can't accuse me if ain't nothing happen. You ain't got to worry about your pull-out game. Ain't got to worry about. You can't accuse me if ain't nothing happen. There
Well,
we go.
stuff happens. Now here we are. So now what? Because I don't
I
have
think
so to be fair. Oh, go
this
ahead.
is just a result of this is really just a result of lawmakers wanting to control people's personal lives. And like it's so ironic because Republicans are like notoriously anti-government and they don't want they advertise themselves as not wanting to control people's lives and then they legislate to control women's bodies and to control like the freedoms of black and brown people. So it's kind of wild to me.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the government for you. You realize that it's really one government. They just playing two
I mean,
sides of the same boat.
Two wings of the
it's.
same bird.
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, it sounds real. It's and it goes back to, and hey, if you want to jump on this, because he and I have debated it, and I don't get it. This whole reversal of Roe v. Wade thing, this whole banning of abortion thing, it seems nefarious. And I don't go too far down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole when I can help it, but it just seems like there's something more sinister underneath it all. Because why do you care if it can't just be evangelical Christians? Why does the government care if a woman decides to have an abortion or not? It literally don't affect anything.
Birth
More
rates are
Because
dropping. Birth rates are dropping
white,
not among black and brown people, but
right?
among white women.
That's what I was about to say.
So
Yeah,
it's really a racist thing
yeah, it is.
because they don't want white women having abortions. So they're banning abortions on for all women
Mhm.
and and trying to like change the fact that white people are becoming the minority in this country
Yeah.
by forcing white people to give birth.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was about to say.
that, but hold on. Just on its face, do you know how far out that sounds? Like,
Wow, that's a fact though. Their birth rates are down.
no, hold on. I'm not denying that part. I'm saying take a step back and understand how crazy it sounds to say, hey, we're going to ban abortions just to make sure there's more white people in the country.
Yeah, that sounds. Wait, out of all our history, this is what sounds weird to you?
That don't
Really?
sound far out for Americans. I don't.
Right? Bro, I don't put nothing past nothing we do here. Nothing.
If you reverse the clock 100 years, okay, I can definitely see that's palpable. I can definitely see
What has
how.
changed? You already agreed to me. You commented to us like what has really changed from 1960s now. Realistically, what has
No,
really
no, no,
changed?
no, no. Oh, I'm not going civil rights. I said 100 years. So if you rewind the clock to 1924, when racism was the order of the day, and we were still running off we as in this country still running off these weird ass ideals of blatant white supremacy, it makes perfect sense. I got you. It is 2024, fam. We what? Like, we still doing this? We still doing this?
Yes.
Mhm.
That's why I said what has changed.
Look at 1924, right? Harlem Renaissance was happening. There was this awakening to Black culture and Black creativity. And the same thing is happening now. White people steal it, they, or what they call it, appropriate it, and call it their own, and then don't understand what the problem is and why they do this. Why is it wrong for me to do? It's okay for you to say it, but not for me to say it. Yes, yes. No, don't. Don't do it.
Because
It's the
it's just
same shit. The same shit is happening. It's all cyclical.
that's just wild.
I'm trying
Like, so you literally gonna have all just again, just on his face. So all of this to have more white kids. Like you,
yeah.
hmm
but I
It
got it.
would
I
be
got it.
I don't
I got
think
it.
racist
that's
as
the
hell to
only
say.
reason.
No,
To
yeah.
be fair, I don't think that's the only reason, but I do think it's a major just it was a major deciding factor because you can't argue with numbers. So if I show you a white supremacist that's in politics, if I show you a chart that just shows white birth rates going down and black birth rates or brown birth rates going up, you're alarmed. And alarm is what politicians respond to. Like they really, that's why political ads are like a whole lot of fear mongering because that's what they think people respond to and that's what they respond to. So, like, of course, they're going to legislate for what they think is right. Oh, we need more white constituents because white people vote for me. So I need these white women to have more babies. Meanwhile, people like me exist. White women giving birth to black babies, you know what I mean? So, unfortunately, you ain't getting no white constituent out of my white mama.
That's
Except
why.
that first one, but he's the man.
Not the man. But I mean, here's where this gets interesting. I've always said, and sometimes he agrees, sometimes he doesn't. I've always said America Kaka has a class problem disguised as a race problem overall, right? And I get what you're saying. Then of course you produce more white folk. The problem is you don't produce more white elites. You just produce more white people. And that's I'm
Mm-hmm.
like it you the you know
They got they got that
how did
under
Jay
control
say it? I
themselves.
said, how did Jay say it? Less is more, nigga. Less is more, less is more. There's
But at
plenty
the
of it.
same time, somebody said, I don't know who, because I could remember a quote, but I can't remember who said it. I want to say James Baldwin, but it might have been him quoting someone else. That like the um best way, or it might have even been LBJ, like the best way to get a white man's vote is to make him feel better than somebody else. So they make the white, that was the basis of it. Like it don't matter if it's an elite white, he's white. And that automatically, if you can brainwash him, makes him better than the blacks or the browns. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
like, as white, he's already a superior class. And I agree with you to an extent that America has a class problem disguised as a race problem because I feel like
World.
once I mean I watched John Oliver. So I watch Last Week Tonight all the time. And this season started off with a bang of an episode about Clarence Thomas. And John Oliver, he be pulling stunts, okay? So
Yeah.
he basically did a whole deep dive on Clarence Thomas and how corrupt he's gotten as his career has gotten further along, right? And how
Yeah.
he should have recused himself from the January 6th trials because of his wife or whatever. And John Oliver at the end of the episode drew up a retirement contract where he was like, I'll give you this free tour bus and $1 million a year until I die or you die, whichever happens first. And you can retire in the lap of luxury because he made the point that Clarence Thomas grew up in a member of the lesser class, not necessarily poverty, but he wasn't rich. And his entire motivation, his entire career has been to get rich. And so he's talked about publicly how little they make as Supreme Court justices, but he makes plenty money because he's going on these lavish 9-day vacations, all in expenses paid because he's friends with the Koch brothers. So he's friends with this Texas billionaire. So yeah, like
Hmm.
he's corrupt, but he's corrupt because he's been chasing that being that upper class, that high class thing. And even looking at looking at videos of black people discussing redlining ending, and them being worried about poor Black people being able to move into their district, and then being like, I don't really know if that's a good thing. It's like, oh, so you crabs in a bucket. You really want to just leave them down there.
Mhm.
It's a class issue because like Black people or brown people, people of color in general, are struggling just to be on par with low class white people.
That's the funny
Right.
thing. That's why I said I think you're right, and I also think you're wrong. That's why I say if any of you need to watch the movie Origin by Ava, shout out to her, because she has a new theory, and it makes perfect sense. That the world is a giant class system. I mean, not class system,
Caste system.
caste system. There we go. Because you think about it, with Hitler and the Jews, they killed their own people. It wasn't racist, but it was a caste system. You dehumanized them, you got rid of them. You
Mhm.
think of India, the actual caste system that they still have today. You got the untouchables at the bottom, and you got the least at the top. It's their own people. They look like each other,
Mm.
but they still keep them down and dehumanize them, so you can treat them any way that you want to. Same thing with America. You can say that it's racist too, but everything ain't racist here either. It's a caste
It's
system. You're
so
dehumanizing a lot of people. Usually it was Black people, us first. Well, you can say Native Americans first because they were here first. Then you can say us. Then you can say all the immigrants. Then you can say now
so
the Hispanics. It's a caste system that is the
so
overall final boss of the class/race.
so how did he say it? Make no mistake, these people at one's first sign of trouble, their moral code, once it's gone, these people will eat each other. Shout
Well,
out to Heath
it's
Ledger.
subjective. So
Shout
yeah,
shout out to Heath Ledger and Joker. But there's our Dark Knight quote for the show. But yeah,
could be another one.
but that's the part that was just wild. Like all of this, it just on its face seems weird. Like I need to control whether or not a woman gives birth. As a man, that just sounds ugh, real Handmaid's Tale-ish. Real
I was
Handmaid's
gonna say
Tale.
the same thing. Very
Like,
Handmaid's Tale.
like what? You what?
But if you look at Handmaid's Tale, the start of that novel, the start of the show, birth rates were dropping, and then people stopped being able to have babies, like they were sterile as a result of pollution or whatever. They didn't really specify, but women were becoming sterile naturally,
Right.
and and so the special ones that had given birth or could still give birth or were fertile, they became enslaved and basically birthing cows. They were breeders.
It
And
just
that's what they've made women in America. I mean, especially here in Texas, are breeders. If you get pregnant in Texas, when you
yeah.
find out, it's too late. So
And you have to
you
go a couple states
got to
over.
give birth. And the only way to get rid of the kid, if you don't want it, or even if you do want it, but it's not viable, is for you to be on the brink of death. Sean Oliver did another deep dive on that. So
I'm just going to another state.
I mean, but that's the problem with being in Texas. You gotta hike because this entire block of I don't even realize how far you got to drive to
you got to
get
go
somewhere.
west, because if you go east, every north, Oklahoma is a ban. Everywhere north and east is all banned. So you got to go west to Colorado,
Cali, okay.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you hit
can't.
Colorado. You get Colorado before you hit Cali. Because yeah, I'm like, I
Yeah,
think
you got to hit
Arizona.
Colorado and New Mexico in order to do it.
So you got to go all the
And
way to
You got
Arizona.
time?
from here, that's a 12-hour drive
Right. That's a minute.
or more.
Right. That's all this because they want more white folk, and that's the part that's weird. Because I'm like, when you look at politics in general, there are so many conflict of interests, kind of like what you just mentioned. Even beyond Clarence Thomas, like if you look at all of these folks, there's a huge conflict of interest. Like, dog, if you run a company, I can't have you sit on some kind of committee to oversee that company. That's direct conflict of interest, but yet it happens all the time in politics. So I'm like, this
Yeah.
the part that makes this whole control women's bodies things weird is because you don't need extra white people. You just need extra people to keep the system going. You
There
don't
you
need
go.
like that's the part it gets weird. It
Two
gets
things
weird.
Well,
can be
and then
true.
the other thing is that it feeds into the what do we call it? The healthcare industrial complex. Like the
Mm,
whole looking for a treatment, not a cure thing. Like it costs more to give birth than it does to have an abortion. I mean, at any point, other than being in the third trimester and basically having to give birth no matter what, even if you get an abortion, it's still like a stillbirth. um in the first two trimesters, you're still going to have some type of equipment that you have to use. You can pop a pill, and like no matter what you're doing to have the abortion, it's less invasive, less expensive than it is to give birth because of
you're
what
right.
they charge for labor and delivery. They're charging you for the rooms, they're charging you for the toiletries, they're charging you for the nurse, they're charging you for the ultrasound little gel crap. They're charging you for the doctor, they're charging you for the vaccinations, they're charging you for the needles they use to give the vaccination. Like if you get a line item bill for labor and delivery
It's
and
crazy.
a 3-day stay in a hospital, it's it's tens of thousands of dollars depending on where in the country you are and what hospital you went to. I gave birth at a pretty nice hospital back in 2016, and I shudder to think what Medicaid paid for my bill because I had Medicaid at the time.
Wow.
and that
That
and just to bring it back around, of course Medicaid wants their money back from those baby daddies within the first year of birth of that child.
like nah, we worked it out. Me and Shorty, we good. We cool now. You can't charge me like that. That's absolute insanity. Moving forward, this is interesting. This rolls right in. So one of the themes that we always talk about on this show is how, it's amazing how many answers you find to problems within these borders, outside of the borders. So shout out to our homies across the pond, the French. Breaking news coming from Daily Loud: France becomes the first country in the world to make abortion a constitutional right. I'm happy and partially sad. Happy because that's what's up. Partially sad because so you had to make this a constitutional right to ensure it. I would think as a country with women, with people with XX chromosomes, this would be a gimme. But apparently it's now been made a constitutional right. Um, so whereas America has rolled back Roe v. Wade, the French, and in their funny hats and desserts, have come to the brilliant conclusion to make it a constitutional right. Hopefully, don't have a Roe v. Wade situation years from now, and some goofball rolls it back. Let me be very clear because I know how people like to clip and mix things up. It's not about me being pro-life or pro-choice. It's about, hey, I don't have to carry it. I believe it's a woman's choice either way. But I do think if I'm not the, for lack of a better term, it's going to sound crude, I'm not the incubator. So if someone who has to carry a child for 9 months decides they do not want to, they can't, they should have the right, well, they choose to exercise that right, they should have the right to say, hey, I can't do this. And there should be no repercussions. That's my firm belief. So France, oh, I probably eat some French fries to celebrate. France has, in my opinion, gotten it right. The first country in the world to make it a constitutional right. I want to give it up to France. Your thoughts on these, everybody? What you got?
Go first.
Are you sure?
Ladies first.
I love it. I sent it to my homegirl from France. I was like, France is where it's at. Adopt me and take me home with you. Because compared to Texas, it's amazing to have the constitutional right to make a medical decision on my own without interference from my government. However, I get what you're saying, that like it's kind of sad that it had to be made a right. It should already like be your inherent right to make your own medical decisions for yourself, because abortion is healthcare. So I really think that that's important, and I think that the French get it because they take care of their citizens when it comes to healthcare in general. And so this is just make like firmly entrenching that women's healthcare is extremely important. And the reason that it doesn't happen in America is because Americans in general have these capitalist views indoctrinated into them very early on, and the healthcare system, although much is called nonprofit, is very much for profit. And you can't profit off of, like what I was just saying, you can't profit off of abortion the way you can profit off of labor and delivery. So of course they want you to give birth. Of course, they don't want to make it a right, healthcare a right, because they want people to have to continue paying for their healthcare and paying high premiums for their healthcare, no matter what kind of medical care they need, abortion being one of them. Like, and so the rich people will still be able to get abortions because they'll be able to travel to get those abortions. The poor people won't. So
and there it is again, that funny space between race and class.
mm-hmm.
That interesting intersection where it's like, well, we might be inclined to think it's a racial thing, but when you broaden the lens a little bit, you see it's definitely a class thing. Ken, you were going to say something.
What y'all said. I mean, there ain't much to add to it. Good for them. Most other countries, including the country up north, our neighbors, most of the healthcare and all that's taken care of. Yeah, is the taxes high as hell? True. But if you take care of the people, would people really care about paying high taxes? Probably not. But when you pay high taxes here and they don't take care of you, people are upset. And that's why they try to find loopholes. And I don't blame you. F the IRS. Oh, yeah. That's a scam too. But either way, yeah, I'm good for France.
Yeah, let me just say income taxes are unconstitutional.
Yep. Oh, tax in general. At least here, because what are we doing outside of war? I got that part.
Whoa. Hold on. So, how do you propose government officials get paid and government projects and government works get paid for?
I'm not against all taxes. I'm just
not.
against income taxes because I earned my income. I worked for it. If I buy property, if I buy anything, like I'm not against sales tax. I am pro sales tax. Okay. But like property tax, I should own my property. Yes. If you can take my property because I haven't paid taxes on it, then that means I don't own it. So that's unconstitutional. I shouldn't be taxed on my income that I've already earned. That's unconstitutional. Okay. The companies should be taxed on their profits because they're not even taxed on my wages. They're writing off my wages, and then I have to pay the taxes for them. Houseway, make it make sense.
Yeah.
I think there are other ways. I mean, if France and Switzerland and Denmark and Canada, they can all function with a government where people pay taxes and they're able to give their citizens universal health care, then America can do it too. I mean, it's crazy to me. I told my homegirl from France, her name's Betty. Hey, Betty girl. I told Betty, I was like, it's like the French took democracy, like the American ideal. We showed y'all democracy, and they was like, yeah, we want that too. And they took it, and then they did it better than us, and they're still doing it better than us because when they protest, They shut shit down and they get shit done. And I appreciate that about the French. I want to go live there for a little while.
Well,
See
you ain't
if I
gotta worry
like
about
it.
they police shoot them, so they all got sticks and shit.
I don't know. They have some issues with police brutality too.
Yeah, oh no, you're gonna get beat, but you won't get shot. You might get
It's
stabbed,
right.
but you ain't gonna get
But
shot.
yeah, they have their own issues. They also, they have a lot of pedophilia and stuff in France.
Oh,
So
Well, that's
oh,
everywhere,
oh,
and racism.
oh,
I
whoa.
mean, like it was only a couple years ago that they raised the age of consent from 13 to 15, which is really weird to me.
That's
I
still
haven't recently looked at it, but I remember seeing an article about it like in 2020 or 2021, something like that. So yeah, it's they do have their own issues, but the French do be doing shit right in a lot of ways.
My,
So
my,
I don't want
my,
to
my
dwell
look
on the
at this,
negatives.
my look at disgust still hasn't changed. Like, wait, what?
I
What?
don't want to dwell on the negatives. Like that's not
I got something to
abortion.
do. We ain't gotta pay taxes. That's bullshit. That's all a scam anyway.
Like,
Cause
like,
like I
wait a
said,
minute. Y'all ain't got
We didn't
taxes. Y'all done put abortion into the Constitution, but that 15-year-old though.
listen. That 15-year-old, if she has an unwanted pregnancy, is able to get rid of that motherfucker, and that's what's important. Okay, just
True
to
that.
bring it back around full circle.
I don't know. I
True
think
that.
that first part is a little more important than that. But yeah, I get it. But yeah, death is taxes. Because I don't actually, I disagree. I don't think we don't need none of that shit. America has proven over COVID, and actually, just in reality, you know, as long as the U.S. dollar is still relevant, and it is for now, it won't last. And then when that goes away, we're fucked. But until then, um, excuse my French, no pun intended.
Hey, the French.
No pun intended. Yeah, most of the money is on the damn computer anyway. They could just make money out of thin air. Pretty everyone can get paid literally.
Check
Like,
this though. So I'm looking at getting a passport for my daughter. Complete change of subject. You cannot pay the U.S. Department of State with a credit or debit card. You can only pay with a personal check, cashier's check, money order, traveler's check. You cannot pay in electronic funds. Houseway, I could pay my income taxes with a credit or debit card, but I can't pay for a passport.
Yo, that's
I
what?
got to come off some cash to get a money order.
so I had to
I
do
got to
something.
order personal checks. Who writes checks anymore?
No one,
No
unless your
one.
business, unless you like own a business or something.
Come into the 21st century, police.
That's
Why do
what?
I have to get a money order at the post office to pay for a passport so I can leave the country with my daughter? I
It's
don't remember, but I must have gotten money orders when I got my passport back in
And
2015.
and that's what I'm trying to remember because I got mine in 2015 as well. But at the time, I was literally living next door to DC, so I just walked. I got my passport in one day. I did the express thing. It took me like
Oh, you get on my nerves.
no, it took like 7 hours. I swear it took like 7 hours to do it. But because I had to actually go to the State Department, and there's some I don't know if they still have it, but it had some like express track. But you pretty much dedicating your whole day. So I had to sit there a good 6, 7 hours, got my picture taken, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But I can't remember how I paid for it. I'm fairly sure I used my card. Now, I don't know if that's because I was literally at the State Department or what, but yeah, that's interesting.
That's wild to me.
scam.
I everything that I said, everything that I read today, the library, I mean, they have a fucking office here where you can do that. Spend I don't where you can spend the whole day because people from out of town that stayed at my job because they were going on a trip in like 3 weeks and they needed they needed their passport immediately in hand before they left. Um, but everything I looked at today, I was so mad because I was like, I'm just trying to take my baby to Jamaica.
Uncle Sam, run the jewels, man.
Really?
Yeah, I
I can't
got
pay
it.
with my card.
I know you got it. Because you sent bread a couple years ago. He's supposed to be in debt. I mean, hey, only the government could be in debt and not have to pay that shit back, but we gotta pay and go to prison. This is bullshit. Just saying. So that should not be a bad thing because they setting a bad example. Okay.
The thing is, debtor's prison is unconstitutional, and yet people go to prison for not paying the IRS.
That's a scam. And
Is
I
that not
looked
the
into
same
that.
thing?
I
Wait,
looked
wait,
into
wait,
all
wait,
that.
wait, 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 whoa,
IRS
whoa,
is a
wait.
scam.
You can't go to jail for that, can you? You just like
Wesley Snipes went to prison for not paying his taxes, did he not?
What?
Didn't he
They
do about
got
5
out
years?
of home for not paying taxes. They couldn't get him for nothing else but that.
tax evasion. Wait a minute.
IRS, hey, the Joker know not to mess
So
with
the
the IRS.
IRS is finding people where the FBI can't find them, and sending them to debtor's prison because they didn't pay what the IRS said they needed to pay.
You know
And
you can go to
the
prison.
crazy thing is the tax code is so convoluted here that we have to go to an accountant to have them look at all of our wages and whatever kind of deductions we could get and figure out what we owe. In other countries where they do have income tax, you know what you're paying based on your salary, no matter, what year it is, no matter what's going on. Like the government tells you, they tell you you owe us this much. You don't have to calculate and figure out how much you owe and then be like, oopsie, if you get audited and go to prison because you ain't got it to give them. Like that's fucked up. That's a
That's
setup.
wild. You right. I forgot
Smart.
about what did
That's
Lauren Hill.
entrapment, is what it is. It's entrapment.
That is diabolically genius, man. This is why I love this shite. Because this
Didn't
is
Lauren Hill have
genius.
tax issues too? No, I think about it.
She did at one point.
Holy I didn't even think that is a dead. Wow.
You know that you can go to prison
Wow.
for taxes?
I feel like there should be a civil rights attorney in the courtroom with you if you ever get hemmed up on some tax evasion charges. I want a civil rights attorney with me because I want them taking it all the way to the Supreme Court. The debtor's prison is unconstitutional. This country was founded on the concept of us not having to go to jail because we owe somebody money. And what you're telling me is it's okay for the government to send me to jail because I owe them money, but it's not okay for like these credit card companies to send me to jail, which credit is a scam and is bullshit and was invented in America too. So all of that debt in general, like this country was founded on escaping debt and not having to be sent to the gallows because you owe somebody some money. And then they created a system of debt
But of course they did. Of course
to
they did.
send people to prison to keep slavery alive.
Wow. Usual suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he didn't exist. Wow. What in the name of Kaiser Sose is going on here? Um, that's wild because I didn't think about it. Yo, how do you diabolically genius? Shout out to Kane. Diabolically genius.
Just look at
Like,
it.
wow. Run the jewels. You're right. Run the jewels.
You got
Okay.
it. You
So
print it.
we're gonna shift gears. To like we said it's certain shit you can read and be like, that was Texas, and it's certain other shit you read and be like, yep, that was Florida.
Mostly Florida, but yeah, continue.
Like you can just read the headline like, yeah, that was Florida. You ain't gotta tell me.
Yeah.
Only if you got a question is, okay, were they Latin, white, or black? But usually you can read the headline. Man that jumps in alligator pit and body slams alligator. Yeah,
That's Florida.
that's certain shit.
That's Florida.
That's Florida. For
Right.
sure.
That was Florida. So this is the story of Aguilar Mendez. Aguilar does not speak English. Why does this matter? Because finally, about a week ago, Aguilar was released from jail.
Virgilio Aguilar Mendez.
Okay, you're right. You're right. My apologies. So what happened was he was here in America, Virgilio, and cop Sergeant Michael Kunovich. Yeah, you can guess. It's just certain again, and this is where we're going to dive into the cultural piece of it. Is certain things that when we hear it, the first question we asked was he black or was he white? So, reading it. Um, let's see here. Sheriff Sergeant Michael Kunvik suffered a heart attack after struggling for several minutes, along with other officers, to take Mr. Mendez into custody. Ha! Kunvik walked away when Mr. Mendez was handcuffed on the ground. Minutes later, he collapsed on a curb, according to documents.
Come on, Craig.
Oh,
Get up, Craig. I'm sorry.
you Friday, yo? Really? Really? Really?
Come on, Craig. Get up, Craig.
Now, video, however, showed that he was a victim of police brutality and the arrest should have never happened. Stop me if you've heard this before. Body camera footage showed that he does not speak English at all. He speaks an indigenous language of Guatemala. So he didn't understand the commands of the officer. Stop me if you heard this one before. So petition of his release started by change.org, got more than 600,000 signatures. Finally, holy shit. Our girl Kim K did it again. Kim K, who just recently figured out her kids were black, but is responsible for Centoya Brown's release. Shout out for that. I give credit where credit is due, but it's just not to get too far off base. It's just amazing. I wonder what the aha moment was when Kim figured out, holy shit, my kids are black. I just wonder what the aha moment was. I'm glad she's become an activist. It's weird because if you told me Kim and Kanye got married, I would never have guessed the activist, the person going to stand up for black people in that marriage would be Kim. But here we are. But
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But go ahead.
how do you don't know? She was responsible.
She might be responsible for
it checks out to
stuff.
me, but it checks out to me because I'm a mother. So, like, when you become a mother, you will stop at nothing to protect your kids. So, knowing that her kids are black, knowing who her husband at the time was, her kids needed extra protection. So, yeah, like I get it. It checks out to me. I would think because he's so erratic and like he's powerful, but he doesn't have focus. And she has a platform and she has focus. And when she puts her mind to something, she does it, no matter how stupid it is. So, like, I'm glad that she's shifted and she's putting her mind to more meaningful things. But at this point in time, like, I see. I wouldn't have if somebody said one of them's gonna be an activist, I would have pegged her over him once she had kids.
Whoa. Only one of them is on record for saying on national TV, George Bush does not care about black people. Only one of
Yeah,
them.
but making a statement doesn't equal activism to me,
I don't think any of them are activists.
even with the platform.
Y'all need to stop looking at celebrities be activists.
You don't
Why?
think that the work that she's done to right injustice is considered activism?
Well, considering the other accusations, I'm not so sure. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But outside, if she's clear of those stuff, then yes. But the fact that I don't believe that she and most other celebrities and elites are not clear of that shit, I don't trust it.
Is this an Epstein Island joke that I'm missing? Am I?
I think so.
Oh yeah, well, that and other stuff. But hey, that's why I say it's a rabbit hole. I'm not gonna get into that one. But props to her for, like I said, having black kids. Oh shit. Who that? Yeah, still see. I'm back. But props to her having, black kids, having a bleeding heart, at least for this. I don't know about anything else. But I
See
don't
this.
I don't look to celebrities for activism and that shit.
All right, so this is a weird space and an interesting predicament you just put me in. While I understand the problem of looking at quote unquote celebrities for activism, I don't think it's out of bounds by any stretch of the imagination, especially if you are Black, especially if your notoriety comes from Black people, or quote unquote minorities, but especially Black people. Um, I need Boosie to never get near a microphone again in the rest of his wretched life, like ever. And like
I don't want to keep catching
But
strays.
he's so entertaining, though.
He keeps catching strays. He ain't even doing it. He just sitting there eating
he's
chicken
a
wings at a strip club right now. You just catching a stray. All right.
he's a walking minstrel show.
He's
He's an
so
embarrassment.
ignorant, and
Well,
it's
just most
funny.
celebrities are, and they're people. Just got either talent or money or both.
There are
Mm,
people who achieve a certain level of notoriety, success, if you will, and wealth that never disconnect from the facts of the matter. How
Who?
many people has Jay-Z bailed out?
You nah, it's Jay-Z is the wrong person to use. See, like you want to name a whole lot of people that I know got some real shady shit and was getting along with some real shady people. Cause like I said, this Diddy stuff, and along with all the other stuff, we about to have a whole lot of people get exposed, and all these people that everyone bows down to and worships and yada yada, all false prophets.
I mean, I never looked at Diddy as on that
You
line
just said
anyway.
Jay. And he's associated with a lot of people in that club. So I mean, hey, power to you. He bailed out some few black people, but doing some crazy shit behind closed doors. Cool.
Between him and his wife, there's a and again, Jay walking around with free black man here. We ain't talked about this. You
How'd he
don't
get
get
free? And is he really free?
yeah.
You sure?
We talked about this. There's an income bracket where you are quote unquote uncancelable and untouchable. I
Why?
told you.
Wait,
I
why? Well,
keep
who controls who's gets canceled? And why do certain people get targeted? So if he's playing along with all this shit, of course he's not gonna get canceled.
Bruh, his wife took a big steaming shit on the Super Bowl of all things, for one. For two, he is a problematic individual when you start talking about systems and
Is he?
forces of oppression.
No,
Forces of
he's not.
oppression.
He's trying to sit at the table. We already discussed this with the NFL. He's not trying to do. See, if you said Cube, I'll be with you. Cube,
Q.
Cube, yes, I agree. You said J, and that's where I'd cut ties. When you said that is no, no. We see it with the NFL. I don't even gotta get into the rabbit hole shit. We see it with the NFL. What are me and you complaints? You said when he got that role with the NFL being the what, entertaining consultant or something, whatever the
Right,
that.
right, right. You want the halftime shows.
Yeah, like I said, you wanted to sit at the table. He's one of those I want to be at the table ass niggas. Pause. I mean, I'm not pause. Excuse my language. French again. He's one of them. We try to get at the table instead of making our own damn table. Those
Can't
people that want to sit at the table, I can't trust you 100%. I'm sorry. That's a red flag. Why? Why in 2024? Why are we still trying to sit at the table that's clearly not designed for us?
because you make the table,
No,
you
you
bring your
don't. No, you don't bend nothing. It's like stop it. Like this ain't fairy tale. This ain't Disney. This is real life. You ain't been shit. You come into my table. You don't dictate nothing on my table. That's what I don't understand. You make your own table. You make your own house. You make your own food. You have complete control of everything you do. You join someone else's crew or whatever. You are following their lead. You can maybe make suggestions and all that other shit, but it's theirs. You're joining their stuff. This stuff wasn't built for you. That table wasn't for you. You supposed to serve that table. So now you sitting here, but you still a servant. So no, he ain't free. He free to us because he got more power than us, the normal folk. But to them, shit.
So I go back to the two J bars that should have let a lot of people know what time it is. As I've always said, When he said, yo, asylum can be purchased, that lets you know what time it is.
At
When
what
he
cost?
also said, I got 5 passports, I ain't never going to jail. Again, that should let you know what time it is. Those two little things there,
What if that's a
that lets
double?
you know.
What if that's a double and you don't even know it?
No. As- Let,
You don't want to believe
asylum,
that though. It's a
asylum
double.
can be purchased. That lets you know, okay, so there's an
Yeah.
income level that I can attain
Right.
that I am pretty much untouchable.
How do you get there? Because what do we always say?
Good, good
No.
question.
Okay. So what do we always say? A billionaire is what? Failure to
Failure,
humanity.
a failure to humanity.
Right. He's hit that status. So is his wife, I think. I believe.
No,
Or she's close.
per
Either way, he
let's
hit
say
it.
per last count, Beyonce by herself, hypothetically, if they split tomorrow, Beyonce's worth 600 mil.
Okay. Still generational, whatever. But as we see, to get to that threshold, because that is very, very, very rare. To get to that, what did you have to do it? That's the question you should be asking.
I mean, he broke it down in What's Beef. If you listen to his verse in What's Beef, he broke it down. Now, is that it? Is that a cursory observation? Probably, but he broke it down in What's Beef. But hold on, okay, hold on. Let
We
me
ain't gotta go down this rabbit hole. Like I said, I
right.
can
Let me
take it
circle
there.
it back to where we started here.
Yeah, because
Unfortunately,
I ain't gonna be able to contribute if we talking Jay Z. All I can say is look at their age gap and how old she was when he met her. He was eyeballing that thing from when she was young,
Oh yeah.
so he on par with Epstein if you're thinking about it. And
whoa.
Epstein was untouchable too.
Oprah, all them beliefs that we all look up to. They all into that shit.
We gotta
No
we gotta
more.
really talk. We gotta talk about Oprah at some point because somehow she done went from goals to problematic, and I don't quite remember how. But I know after this Hawaii thing, her and The Rock got a lot of blowback. Oprah's still getting blowback from the treatment of Color Purple, and I'm like, yo,
She getting
just
blowback
a
for a lot of
minute,
stuff. She getting
just
exposed
a
for a
She
lot
minute
of
became
ago,
stuff.
Oprah.
problematic like her first Weight Watchers campaign. She been problematic.
Right,
I
damn.
love bread. The bitch been problematic. I don't even
Right.
let's whatever.
Right. Like I don't like stop it. I understand she got a lot of money to that, but come on, dog.
Her
Like
media
I
mogulism was maybe goals, like her as a businesswoman, was
Maybe for
maybe
that.
goals, but like her as a person, I don't know.
like she didn't have to get married. She didn't pressure Stedman into a marriage. She built an empire by herself.
You don't
Um,
you don't never build an empire by yourself. That's a lie.
Right. And then also, like, is that really goals or is that another form of like pushing women away from the nuclear family by saying, look what you holding her up as the example of look what you can do, even if you don't get married, even if you don't have kids, especially if you don't get married and have kids, there's no one there for her to leave her legacy to. She don't have kids. She don't have nieces and nephews. Like she's good, but what is she going to do with her wealth? She's going to die because she's a person. She's a human. Is she going to leave her wealth to um, nonprofits? Is she going to leave her wealth
That would be
to
smart because it'll
these
go back to you.
organizations that are going to help humanity? And if she does, will they be nonprofits that her and her friends funded and that are in
Yeah,
trust,
yeah,
really, just
yeah,
so that this one elite group of people can benefit from it?
yeah. That's more.
So
That's
like
what's gonna happen.
Oprah's not I don't know, she ain't been goals for a long time since I became grown. When I was a kid, yeah, I had in fourth grade, we did a living library and we got to that was our first like real research project. We had to learn all about a person that made history and we got to dress up as them, and during open house we all stood in the library with a little sticker on our shoulder, and our parents came and they pushed the button and we spit out the facts, the biography of this person. I was at the time watching Marilyn Monroe movies with my mama on TCM, so I chose Marilyn Monroe.
Hmm.
My teachers were a little bit like, huh? How you gonna do that? You black. But I figured it out, okay? My friend at the time, Janae, she chose Oprah. And she stood right next to me in the living library and she spit out all the facts, okay? Oprah was goals in fourth grade. But since I've been grown, since probably about high school, I've just been like, Oprah a little iffy. She ain't adopted no Japanese kids, no Taiwanese. She ain't did a Nicole
I think
Kidman.
that's a good thing.
She ain't did a Angelina Jolie. She ain't even adopted kids like Sandra Bullock from New Orleans. Like she ain't did. She's not really giving back to humanity. What is she? Oh wait, my bad. She opened a school in Africa for girls.
Are
That-
those girls still
that's,
there? Somebody check on them girls.
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
given the
I feel
fact
like
that
we should definitely check on them girls. And I wonder, and also, really, I feel like that school for girls that she opened in Africa is training people to work for her. It's almost like child labor. It's like an apprenticeship because if I'm not mistaken, she gives those girls jobs and internships within her media organization, which on one hand can be looked at as like, yeah, she's really creating wealth for them. And on the other hand, it's like, are you just are you just creating
a
your
workforce,
workforce?
a
Like,
labor force.
are
That's
you really just helping them? You're helping them only so they can help you to become wealthier because you're creating wealth for them, but really you're just paying them a livable wage.
yeah. That's how every company works. I mean, we're getting scraps. The CEOs, the ones making the big bucks. So that's normal. I expect that. But damn. Hmm.
That's what. See,
Oprah.
that's like I said,
LL.
it's an interesting case study because once upon a time, Oprah was up here, and you get a car, and you get a car, and now it's like the whole world is turned. And the funny thing is, the only thing I remember is The Rock, one of my favorite folks, getting a whole bunch of blowback from the fires in Hawaii. I don't remember Oprah saying or doing anything. I know right now is a lot of folks bent at Oprah because she walked away from Weight Watchers, did the whole Ozempic thing, which is weird. Uh, but yeah, I just it'll be an interesting case study because once upon a time Oprah was like, "Yo, be Oprah," and now it's like, "Ill." I was like, when did Oprah
Well,
get the ick
I
factor?
can tell you exactly when she started to decline is when she retired her talk show. That's when she started to decline because there was a huge gap. Like no one could fill those shoes. Tyra really tried, but come on now. She was giving shit out, especially during what was it, 12 Days of Christmas or whatever? Oprah's favorite things. Man, you wanted to be in that studio audience because you get a car. Like you said, everybody got stuff. And when she stopped giving the general public that came to her shows free stuff, um, yeah, people stopped liking her as much.
It's like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. My bigger problem is she seems to be a land baron, and I'm like, how is it again? Not to go too far down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. How is it so much of Hawaii burned, but none of your land? That's very interesting. How,
You know the
that's an
answer.
eyebrow.
You know the answer to that. But
I,
I
I
said,
mean,
yeah.
none of it, no answer I can come up with is a good one. No answer I can think of can be a good one because I'd hate to think I don't know, pooled all the resources to make sure your land was good at the expense of other parts of Hawaii burning. That would
Or it
be,
was a controlled fire, which is probably what really happened. But yeah.
you can't control a fire.
Yeah.
It's like gas. Like I'm just only gonna gas this area. There's this little thing called wind and air that might kind of jeopardize that idea. You
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
I'm confused about how The Rock is getting blowback from that because even though he does have money, he's also a native Hawaiian. So like, I'll sway.
The Rock. The Rock got blowback because he was up there with him and Oprah asking for donations. Like, dog, between y'all two,
Oh, okay,
Millions
that
of
makes
dollars. They
sense.
had to
Yeah.
put
Why
donations.
you asking regular people to give
Yeah,
$5, $20 when
bro.
you got millions of dollars? Make it
Bro,
make sense.
you were $500 million. Oprah's definitely past $1 billion. So like, what are you asking us for? We should be asking you for some shit.
I mean, hey, I'm still trying to figure out where Cash Money and Wayne was during Katrina, but what do I know?
I
What do I
mean,
know?
we know Birdman on the money for real, so he couldn't do that. So, hey, that's what happened there. He tried.
But going back to what really started all this, um,
We went so left with this conversation.
going back to really started all this, Mr. Mendez, I just so you get arrested, you don't speak the language. The cop who arrests you, it is not. I'm not laughing. It's just you can't Steven Spielberg can make this up. So the cop who arrests you, along with his buddies, the cop that helps arrest you has a heart attack and dies, and you get charged with murder.
Manslaughter. Manslaughter.
I'm sorry,
Um,
manslaughter. And I'm like, wait, what?
look,
Now,
uh, instant karma. And then, that's all I'm gonna say. Instant karma. And then of course the racist justice system had to blame the brown man and add to the prison industrial complex is all that is. So I'm glad Kimmy K did her part to get him dismissed.
that's how we got there. Kim, okay, right. That's how we got there. Kim Kardashian helped get this young man out. I'm just I'm trying to see what was he arrested for? Like what? Huh?
Resisting.
Like
They
they
was
just
probably hemming him up. They was probably hemming him up for resisting. That's what they was calling it. Like he ain't understand what they was telling him to do, so he wasn't listening. So they called it resisting. Then they hemmed him up.
yo, yeah, aggravated manslaughter, which could have been a life sentence.
Hmm.
Jeez.
And at the
Resisting.
time, he was 18
Mm-hmm. Had a
and had been
family.
here for a year,
Mm-hmm.
providing for his family back in Guatemala. And for the past year, he's been in jail, not able to provide for his family, and has put them at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is what I was looking for. So they were saying he was trespassing. Trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he was standing around being brown.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, this is Florida. So, who else was trespassing? Trayvon Martin, anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Um, trespass, and
Mm.
I, I just certain shit you read is like, wow, Florida, really, really, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Trespass.
Yes. Why are you surprised about this? This is some stuff, man. It's gonna happen.
Because it's what gets me, and maybe this is me being black, and I understand it. What gets me is the presumed impunity. Like you really thought this was gonna fly. So you got a brown person who I'm guessing when you bark commands at him ain't responding a certain way. So that should kind of tip you off. You know what? It's quite possible this person don't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
So you all think all of the systems that had to converge. So you got these cops here arresting him. He don't speak English. Your home, if you a cop, your other fellow cop and just passed out. Find out your fellow cop and died because one too many donuts. Um, so you go through this entire process. You book this young person on a manslaughter charge that carries a life sentence, and you thought that was gonna fly. That's the part that get you really thought this was okay. You thought this was good, and this was gonna fly. So you were comfy putting this young man in a cage from age 18 till death. for some shit y'all instigated.
What's really crazy to me is that the police don't determine the charges. The district attorney determines what the person is charged with. So the fact that multiple divisions of this justice system did this kid so wrong when and it also begs the question like how quickly did the partner and other officers render aid? Did they think he had just passed out? And how long did it take the ambulance to get there to check on him? Like why did they want to pin it on this kid so badly and put him away for life? Um, was it to pass blame because they were actually negligent? You know, that's what question I have in my mind because this kid didn't do nothing. He was already handcuffed when the man walked away from him. So how you pinning manslaughter on him?
Because he resisted.
And also internal affairs, because how often are these officers given physicals? Should they not be given a physical every year like athletes if they're in the field? And if so, then whoever gave him his pass on his physical, were they negligent? Like somebody else in this chain of command was at fault for this officer dying on the job. Were they just trying to get out of paying his family his pension by saying that he was killed by someone else? Because he didn't die a hero. He died a motherfucking racist.
He didn't live long enough to become a villain. I'm sorry, I told you it was coming.
Dark Knight quote, Dark Knight quote, gotcha. But it is now initially I'm reading this though, like, but I'm like, come on, fam. I don't know how the conversations are going in the other countries of those who want to sneak in here if you are Latin. But is somebody letting it be known? Is somebody getting word back that listen, they on your ass? Florida, especially Texas, they had to say, hey, by the way, this razor wire y'all got in Texas is unconstitutional. That shit's cruel. I don't know who is the delegate, but you are taking a risk if you are coming in this country illegally.
Even if you come in this country legally as a non-European, even some Europeans that happen to be brown or darker skinned, like if you got olive in your skin tone, then you're taking a risk coming to America.
True that.
Especially if you're gonna be in the South.
It's the lesser of two evils. That's the point. That's you trying to live the dream that they somehow got sold in another country, even though we all know it's bullshit. Well, maybe we all don't know because we're all still trying to live opposite.
Compared to the economies of those countries they're coming from, and the political unrest in some cases, like, okay, it might be better here. It might be like a cakewalk here compared to what they were living there. So you could be right, but it's still a risk. It's a huge risk.
I mean, come here, deal with one of the good old boys versus stay where I'm at, deal with the cartel, and get shot.
I take the boys. I take the boys. I'm not messing with the cartel. I take the boys. I take the boys. Hey, cartel, you are a friend of the show, man. I got no smoke with you, none. Nope. I'm somehow in Mexico. Hola, mi amigos. Te amo. Hey, leave me alone.
Did you really want to appeal to the cartel?
We good, sir. We good, Armando. We good. But yeah, was it my turn?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, but then again, bro, I hear what you're saying, but they're about to give this kid life. So
I mean, he could have been dead where he was at. He's still breathing.
Bro, life in a Florida jail ain't gonna be fun. And it was a cop, they might try to give him the death penalty. But oh no, it was manslaughter. So there was punishment by life. So they weren't trying to give this. They weren't trying to give him that.
Everything is a risk. I mean, yeah. Borders, man. What can you do?
I mean,
immigrants telling immigrants how to be immigrants. I love it. Either way, Yeah, I'm glad that he got off because it was stupid. He should have been charged for out of shape pig. So now he's somewhere on a Wendy's sandwich. Congratulations. I don't eat pork anymore, but hey, I'm sure it's great. But
So
yeah, Wendy's. Shout out to you, Baconators all day. Um, yeah. So yeah, there ain't really much to say other than that. It was racist as hell. He passed away. It got settled, but really, he needs to get back pay or whatever, or give him and his family some citizenship. Cause you wasted a year of this man's life, and you stopped his funds going to his family back home. So I don't even know if they still even here or what they're going through. So it's like, yeah, I need that back pay, everything, and give me some citizenship, me and my family, right now. Then we call it even, kinda.
good luck.
I know it's not gonna happen, but
They
that was
ain't
the
gonna
right
give him
thing to
no
do.
citizenship. They might give him a work visa.
Right.
Hey, that's cool. Hey, nah, you trying
He's
to
paying because then
nah,
he's paying income taxes.
I'm not I'm not selling for that. I need citizenship. You was gonna trick,
And
gonna put
they
me
gonna give him a work visa. And if you get him a good attorney, they might
Right.
give him. They might settle
I
for.
mean, he in there with Kim and them now, so Kim. You never know what Kim might do. You never know what Kim might do. If I run into some problems, somebody call Kim.
somebody call Kim. Kim is not helping you. The stuff you said on here, oh hell
I ain't.
no.
I mean, listen. You only a part-time culture vulture. You're not a full-time culture
So
vulture.
you got part-time jail time. Have fun, my brother.
I didn't say you was Iggy Azalea. You only a part-time culture vulture. It's cool. You got black kids. I got a black kid. It's cool.
That's not the same. What is going on?
I'm just.
This man is taking a knee for a white woman because he needs help. You hear this? This is why this what generation are you? Oh yeah, see this look at this. See, still living tradition, man. Kneeling for the white one. Kneeling for the Caucasus. Look at you.
Just in case something go wrong and I'm wrong place, wrong time, Kim is an advocate now. You know what I mean? Power to the
Listen, it
people.
pays. It pays to have white people on your side. I got a white mama and a
True.
white brother. I got the man on my side.
That's true, but I'm trying to get rid of all that. So in order to get rid of all that, not like get rid of y'all. I'm just saying like the premise that we need y'all to get stuff done. And that's not necessarily true, but we're gonna believe the lie today.
We
So
got to
yeah.
change the system. We don't
Yes.
need white people to get things done
No.
in general. We need white people to get things done in a society that white people have built that puts them in a superior position.
Well, we built,
So
but
we would
they
have to create a new system of our own.
we got
But excluding other people, other cultures, including white people, is that the wave
no.
in order when
That's
we're making our new system? Are we
no.
exclusionary?
No. See, that's the problem I have. That people think that you talk about black people that you're only talking about. See me, whenever I say something, I don't care about this race. That's a distraction. Like I said, from the real problem, which is class and the caste system. I want to destroy that because you destroy that, all the other isms kind of go out the way. So my thing is destroy the system so we can all start over. Because the funny thing is, white people don't even know they're part of the system too, and the majority of them are on the bottom of it. The elite white people look at poor white people damn near less than us.
Don't tell the MAGA crowd that,
Oh, I
but yeah.
know. Do you think that's the funny thing is ever that y'all MAGA people think Trump is one of y'all? He ain't never been one of y'all. Ever.
Yeah.
He was born
Ain't
into
never
gold.
worked a day in his life.
Never.
He
He don't
I
give a
feel
damn about like he don't probably even want to touch y'all. He has to because the plan. Like I said, hey, how do you control populace, desire, and fear? White people are being controlled too with desire and fear. It's just their fear is everyone else, and that's where it gets dangerous. But
bruh,
their desire is to control everything, even though they're still under the elites. who don't care about none of y'all. They don't care about, I guarantee the elite people don't care about race, religion, sexual. They don't care about none of that shit. It's all about money and power. But we, the actual people, who is the majority, care about all the other shit that they don't care about. That's a problem. So that's why I said this is last before for everyone's sake, not just ours.
Listen, I'm losing faith. Not that I had faith per se, but as we've discussed, being growing up when I grew up, it was an inferred thing of the superiority of whiteness and white intelligence. And I'm like, here we are, X amount of decades later, and with me severely questioning that because as we talked about, I think last show or show before, fam, you got convicted and got a cough up 300 and some odd shit, 300 some odd mil. How 48 hours later you gonna ask me to buy your sneakers for $400? So you think I'm so dumb that I'm gonna pay your bills for you, huh? And judging by what's happened, yup, great call.
We already do that. If you live in an apartment, you kind of already doing that. Like you already do that in your regular life. You paying other people's stuff off already, all free.
Right. But it's one thing for me to be like, yo, Kane, damn man, I just went to court. They said I gotta pay $100,000. Yo, you want to buy this Walkman from me for like 500? I'd be insulted.
Not the Walkman.
Yeah, what are we going back to the 80s, 90s? What the hell? Come on, old man. We in 2024. Come on.
Your
Come in.
age, Russ. You sure your age?
Good God. Walkman. Well,
I'm
that's
just
too
saying, though, like it's the same equivalent. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna paint these sneakers red, white, and blue for you real quick. So you can be down in America, 400. For you, only 400. Nigga, did you just get convicted and gotta pay? Yo, you trying to get me to pay your bill? I gotta punch you on your
That's
like.
smart. Yo, I ain't gonna lie.
At least
As
they
I said,
offering something. It's
right,
not a
you getting
GoFundMe
something.
where they just asking for money.
Exactly. You
They
getting
giving
some.
you a product. If you
Exactly.
determine that it's worth that amount of money, then that's on you.
Right.
But if you don't agree that it's worth that amount of money, then you just don't buy it. If another fool will. But everything that we're doing, to Kane's point, everything that we do is to pay somebody else's bills. Like, I mean, I go to work to pay my bills, right? I pay my apartment. Like my brother, Ashton, he pays rent to my brother Chance, who owns the house that he lives in. We justify it, him paying the man, because it's all in the family. we we building generational wealth within our family. That's what we calling it, because Chance out here buying properties, building properties, whatever. It's all good. He got a construction company. It's all good. But a lot of us are doing that. If we rent a home, we're paying somebody else's mortgage. We rent an apartment, we're paying the management company to keep the community clean and the lawn taken care of and the potholes filled or whatever. Everything that we're doing is just like we buy stuff from our friends' Etsy shop or whatever. We go to their lash person or their nail tech or whoever like offers a service or a creative. We pay them so they can pay their bills. And them paying their bills is oftentimes paying somebody else's bills. We paying that lash tech so she could keep her shop open.
But that's not a slap in the face. That's not the slap in the face.
It should
This
be.
how?
See, okay, so you rather like I'd rather massage you and tell you what's about to happen, like I'm about to smash you versus just walking up and smacking. Is that
Bruh.
is that is that like
Okay.
or the other
Hold on, hold on,
term?
hold on.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you give someone money, it's no longer yours and you don't get to determine what they do with it. So when you give a homeless person money, you don't immediately get to be mad if they go get a 40 ounce with that with that couple dollars that you gave them. It's no longer yours. So if just because you know what's going on in their life, that they just got convicted and they got to pay such and such, it doesn't make it any different. Like
I take
once you choose to give them your money, then that's on you. It's no longer
I,
your money. You can't be mad at what they do with it if they paying their bail bondsman or whoever with it.
I tell you why it makes it different. because it's one thing if I'm voluntarily paying for a service or what have you. It's a different animal if you trying to finesse me. And that's what this is. Old boy is out here finessing these MAGA morons. Like it was what 48 hours? You get convicted, you gotta pay 350 mil. 48 hours later, you at a secret convention. Like I don't know what you really trying to do here. You trying to finesse me, dog. That's the insult. But they don't seem to mind.
Why do
That's
you
the
care?
part that's why.
This is the thing that bothers me. One, a sucker born every day. Two, why do you care? This is great business. If you stupid enough to buy it, that is all. I can.
It's capitalism at work.
That is smart. Like
It's
if
the American dream.
I'm serious, if I was in this position, I'd do the same shit. If you that stupid, I cannot. Nah, nah. I'm giving you a prize. It's not like I'm not giving you something in return, even though it's not worth it. But most of the shoes you pay for ain't worth it. That's a whole nother story. But either than that, he just falling in line with all the other shoe companies. That's all he doing. Okay, instead of him paying off, he don't got. I don't know. Maybe he does that sweatshop work. I don't know how them shoes are made. Either way,
It's Trump.
it's
Of
going.
course.
It's going to pay his bills. It's going to pay his debt. And we need his debt paid off so he can be president. I guess that's the thing. I guess that's what's going through their mind. They're paying off his debt so he can make America great again.
He gonna find a way to not pay that debt.
Yeah,
I mean, these idiots paying it for him. And I'm like, yeah, the supreme intelligence of white folk is
Oh, it's
the
not too white.
notion of that is crumbling.
It's
It is
not
crumbling fast. It is
It's not. It's a lot of Mexicans and Cubans,
black people,
especially
too.
that support Trump.
Black people.
wild. You're right, and it's wild.
So
I don't
it's
know.
not.
I don't know what's more wild, their support or the support of white women. I don't know which one is more wild because he don't fuck with neither one of y'all for
Well,
real.
any of them. That's the thing.
He is completely self-serving. He don't fuck with anybody but himself, and maybe his daughter. But
A little too much. Hopefully. Nah.
little too much. But
Epstein Island. Epstein
in
Island.
Kentucky and Alabama, probably in West Virginia, probably love that about him. So
See that's the like see that
God's fired.
just playing to his constituency.
Oh, oh, not the sister cousin, but okay. So last thing here, and this has been a ball, by the way. Last thing here. This is an interesting one, but the CDC has relaxed their COVID restrictions. You basically they threw quarantine out the window. They said you no longer have to quarantine. Um, it's interesting because again, I think this will probably be the last we hear. This is probably the last we're going to hear of COVID unless some monstrous variant shows up and we have a situation we did, what was it, 3 years ago? 3 years ago, 4 years ago? But it's just, I guess this is it. I guess on the surface, everything we told was right. The vaccine worked. Our immune systems are now caught up and we're good. You can sneeze in public, you can cough in public, and no one's gonna look at you like you have Black Death anymore. Yes, we're finally, we finally flattened the curve. That was the phrase that we got. We got to flatten the curve. We have officially flattened the curve. I'm presuming you can't call out COVID from work anymore. We did it, folks.
And you hit the nail on the head there. That's what it's about. It's sending people back to work. So corporations can make money. That's what it's about.
I'm just, it took us, again, looking at it on the up and up, it took 3 years for the vaccines to work, for the curve to be totally flattened. And presumably, since the CDC is now saying, wherever Dr. Fauci is, the CDC is now saying you don't even have to quarantine no more. I'm like, now you juxtapose that to don't bring your ass outside, put 2 masks on, take this vaccine. If it's amazing. 3 years like this shit. This worked. It took what? First case of HIV was what, 81, 82, something crazy. And it took how long for us to figure out how to get people to undetectable?
Magic
COVID.
Johnson.
That was 91. And that was a death sentence for Magic at the time.
But it wasn't.
But if you go from when HIV first became a thing, I watched an interesting documentary on it. When HIV first became a thing to now, I'm literally seeing commercials that offer medication that keep you undetectable. 81, what I was, so we talking some 40 some, it took 40 some odd years to get HIV under control. It took 3 to get COVID under control.
Did they?
And yet, the flu is not under control.
Right.
Too many variants. You can get a flu shot though, but
There's too many variants of COVID too.
Right. It's still evolving. Like and experts, and it can still evolve one more time, except this time it's the final boss. Like this is Unicron. it's the Unicron going on. It's about to be planetary type shit. Black Plague, Ebola on steroids type stuff now. But yeah, I mean, that stupid one. CDC is just lying full of,
But
elephant.
what part is I hear you, right? But I'm for the first piece of this, because I'm going to get to real. First piece of this, I got to look at it from the up and up. They were right. We were wrong. They told us to stay in the house to save lives. We did. Some people forcibly, right? They said, go get vaccinated. We did. A couple different vaccinations. So at this point, in only a 3-year stretch, instead of what? We lost 600 to 800,000.
Supposedly.
And at this point, we're losing none. So much so that you can have COVID and go to work. You do not
Not
quarantine.
none.
It's
But like
gone.
what they say, like 325,000 at its peak, and now it's like 76,000. So there's still people dying, but they're also not counting deaths related to the vaccine as COVID deaths. So I don't like those like the numbers are all skewed. I feel like it's all propaganda, but I am a native Texan, and so I'm a little bit cynical when it comes to them telling us to stay our asses inside and all of that. We never really, we quarantined for a couple of weeks, but I was essential. So I was outside.
I was in Texas for them 2 weeks. I was in Texas for that time. Like, oh hell, no, I stayed in the house. Fuck y'all.
And what they do, they immediately was like, you know what, you can go outside, just go to parks and stuff like that. Don't go to the bar. Go to the park or the grocery store. Important to stay outside. Don't go in a building outside. They had drive-through strip clubs. I was like, say what now?
Oh, wow.
You can't even eat the buffet at a drive-through strip club. What is you doing? You shaking your ass out the window? You throwing ones?
Is this a glory hole?
It's a drive-by. Hey, let's go.
It was so weird. But like we wasn't, Texas wasn't having that. So very much I don't really know what the rest of the country was going through. But I'm much more like I don't like that they changed the definition of herd immunity to being vaccinated instead of having had the virus. And so I feel that it's all like it was a pandemic for sure. And I'm like, fuck that. Like they should have been did that because they pushed these untested vaccines on people instead of allowing herd immunity to do its thing. And I think they really did that just to bring it completely full circle. They really did that because they wanted white people to stay alive. They didn't give a fuck about the black and brown people.
And they don't even realize that they might be killing them.
But that's the thing. You can't. This word gets sticky. Literally, the push was for Black folks, especially because we were so skeptical. Tuskegee, because we were so skeptical, we were the demographic that were getting vaccinated the least. So the push was for us to get vaccinated as soon as humanly possible. Like you're gonna have a really hard time. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, Kane, but you're gonna have a really hard time arguing this above board because on its you don't have 600,000 dead. You don't have 600,000 dead Americans right now. You don't. And you can easily say, okay, why don't we? Well, because people followed protocol, got vaccinated, wore their mask, stayed in the house. You flatten the curve. And we're finally at a point where the curve is flat. You can come outside, you can have COVID, and it's not going to hurt your body. This is all above board. So let's see. Reed Richards. Let's see the stretch here. Let's see how you.
I'm reaching. I mean, you reaching. I don't know what you're reaching for, but yeah. What I gotta say? Well, one, they kept moving the goalposts when the whole thing was happening, so there's that. Two, they've done actual real tests on the jab, and there's a lot of stuff. I mean, the thing about big federal and pharmaceutical companies, they're unregulated, and they try to do the most cut corners to make the most profits. And what do we always say? Follow the money. You know how much money they made over the pandemic? I think over like 80 billion or 100 billion. They got bread.
And while the entire economy suffered because people were at home, not shopping and adding to the economy, which required a stimulus later, right?
That came out of thin air, by the way.
It's you shut the economy down so that big pharma can earn money. And then big pharma don't even put their money back into the economy. And even if I flip it and say they pushed the Black people to get the jab because they knew it was harmful. And they knew that Black people statistically have a higher rate of having pre-existing conditions like diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. So those are the people that are more likely to have a bad reaction to these vaccines, all three of them.
Especially because it's unregulated and they ran tests on what's in there. And the results that they found is a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't be in there that can definitely be harmful. And the stats show that the people most affected by it has either died or had issues, heart problems, whatever, artery problems, which has been linked to the vaccine. It's usually Black and brown people. Everyone gets affected, but usually the people that seem to be dying, is like the numbers, you go look it up, it's usually minority people. How's that? Operation Warp Speed, unregulated, $1 billion.
And and CRISPR is a thing. So like they know how to create vaccines that will disproportionately affect people of a certain demographic.
It's the genetics.
With gene editing. Yeah, like come on.
And then plus, I don't know about you, I just make it personal. I know a couple people that got the jab. They all got COVID. I'll tell you now, I didn't. And it wasn't close proximity of some of them. Never got it. Still. I know people are still getting COVID till this day. With being vaccinated, boosted up, boost that ass up. You know, whatever how juvenile said. Vax that ass up. There we go. So yeah, like nah, it's too many inconsistency. You got unregulated companies making these medicines that you already know they're for profit and not healing you. So you know they don't really care. They just trying to make money. And the easy way to make money and the fastest way to shortcut stuff is give it to the people, make the most profits. And like I said, this virus was what, a 1% fatality rate? If the numbers were actually real?
It was 2. Well, it was 2.
2% milk. Let's go. We can't drink dairy anyway. Look at this. Like I know. None of this adds up. This was just probably a warm up. We gonna get the real thing eventually.
I mean, it's wow.
They all went silent, radio silent after this thing supposedly ended. And it came out that everything we told was a lie. Like you said, where is Foxy? Where is all that? We don't know. So what happened?
The crazy thing is, it's biological warfare and testing it on your own people.
Well, they
Let's call
said
it what it is. I mean, the lab in China was American owned. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. It's not going to be a nuclear warfare. I might be past that. It's definitely going to be a chemical one now. You won't
I
even
don't know.
see it coming.
It's
That's what's going to happen.
okay. So there's two. He see, and this is where it gets dicey for me because I try to just apply basic logic the same way we were talking about, um, essentially, at least in this country, abortion being a form of, or banning abortion being a form of population control. A lot of people put on the this is all population control thing. And when it came to COVID, the problem is,
And do its job.
yeah, because respectfully, if there's 9 billion people on the planet, a million or so from 9 billion is not saying much. Now, to go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, I've heard, the pandemic phrase. I've heard, well, this is just really a test run to gauge compliance and what can happen, so on and so forth.
And they got all the results they wanted because everybody stayed your asses in their house and made you take something that you probably knew was horrible.
Well,
I
not
mean,
not
they was paying people to take the jab in Harris County. They was giving you up to $100.
It
yeah, I
worked.
was about to say, not in Texas though. Folks did, in fact, in a lot of places in the South, folks didn't comply.
Yeah,
Folks
and
didn't.
then and this is and now you see, I see now we about to go down another rabbit hole, but this is why something's gonna happen down south, and it's already happening. But
You
goddamn,
identify the non-compliant, and you come after them a different way.
oh yeah, they coming after you. It's, like I said, Civil War Part 2. Have fun, because Texas is already trying to move away from the U.S. and have their own stuff.
Yeah, there's
Florida's following
Texans
suit.
in politics that are trying to secede, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's
shamed.
not
I'm shamed.
that's
Mm-hmm.
nothing new though. Like that's
It's not.
nothing
It's
I
new.
not
say
new.
it's now. And then, like I said, since we were talking about the immigration, you got all the age fighting men coming over and no women and children. So why is age fighting men the only ones coming here to those areas, Texas, well, like all in the East Coast and the South? Why are they going there and just sitting there waiting? Just saying,
I mean, and
brothers,
this is where
sisters.
it gets interesting. The reality of the situation is, especially, and I'm just speaking totally personally at this juncture. You know, I love the glorious Empire State, but the reality of the situation is, honestly, if shit were to go severely left, I can't think of a better place to be than the Lone Star State
You're gonna
from
be
a
in the middle of it.
standpoint from the standpoint of the ability I have to defend myself against whatever, from the
It's the
state
U.S. government.
government from the state government here pretty much giving the finger to Biden and Dems when they feel it necessary to. Like, all nonsense aside, having been here for what, 7 years, going on 7 years now,
Hmm.
they take freedom serious here. I think sometimes they take the shit too far, but I'd rather, if I gotta choose a quote unquote situation, I'd rather find myself in a situation where I have the freedom to do what I feel necessary versus the restriction and the government telling me, well, we know what's best for you. Because that's pretty much what happened in blue states. That's pretty much what happened in glorious Empire State. Well, we know better than you do, so we need you to listen. And that would have been a problem.
And it's
Because
wild to me. I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But it's wild to me because doing that, saying we know what's best for you, get the jab or else you can't do anything. That's a medical decision like abortion. So you're pro-abortion in blue states, but you're forcing a vaccine on people. That's a medical decision. You're not giving people autonomy over their bodies and their
Hmm.
medical
What?
decisions if you're forcing them to get a vaccine that they don't want to get.
The good guys
this,
are not really good? Really?
well,
I was
let's
taught that
again
the
be
blue was. outside of
Well,
Crips, a great thing to go. You
you
know,
well, let me float back to the top of the tank for a moment because it was all based under this is for the greater good. And it's an easy argument to make. Look, there's this thing. We don't know how to control it, how to tame it. We just know it's killing a whole bunch of people. And we can't, the only way we can slow this down is motherfuckers need to stop coming in contact with one another. So, for the sake of your elderly, for the sake of your immunocompromised, stay your ass still.
you should do
It's
that for the
for the
flu too.
it's for the greater good.
You should be
You
okay.
should do
This is
that
where
for
I hate.
colds.
You should be doing this for all diseases. You need to quarantine, be by yourself, and
Anything that's
like virus.
infectious.
Yeah, like you need to stay your ass home. Like I don't care, COVID not flu, cold, COVID,
If you
whatever.
got a questionable rash, don't put that shit on me. Don't come by me with that rash. I don't
Stay your
want it.
ass home till you recover. Like that should be a thing regardless of COVID. Like that
And
should
the
If
whole
we
thing
have,
is, the reason people don't stay home is because they can't make a living staying home. You only get so many sick days. COVID mandated in many states that people get paid for being out for those 10, 14 days. And that was a problem for the corporations. And that's why they continuously rolled back the quarantine. And
hmm
now they've made it non-existent. But it's
hmm
because of lobbyists from corporations that need their bottom line to continue to grow, and they need those blue collar workers in order to do that. So they don't need people calling out because they got a little. They want people to come to work sick.
I
Plus,
mean, I'll tell you this, the company I work for, until this year, the last few years, we have built-in COVID leave. We had an extra 80 hours built in just in case we had contracted COVID and couldn't come to work, right? However, this year it's gone. So it's you can play it on either side and be right. And as Kane always says, two things can be true. Is it something nefarious underneath it? Quite possibly. Or it could just be exactly what it is above board. We beat it.
no, we didn't. Not to mention, one, we got lucky. Like I said, if COVID was what it was supposed to be, and let's just say it was the Black Plague or whatever, like it had a real mortality rate. America's infrastructure, we would all be dead. Because remember when COVID happened? Once it got here, it spread like a wildfire. So if it was a real disease that was really taking out people, we would be dead. Our infrastructure suck here. It sucks. So if they've released the final boss edition, it's wraps.
Hmm.
It is a wrap. The same way as if someone invades us and has the balls to do that, it's
I
wraps.
mean,
Our infrastructure
so
for that is horrible too.
here's something to consider. Something to consider because I was taking a peek just to see, and I was like, wow. So 3 years ago in spring of 2020, Moderna stock was going for $28 a share. It is now going for 150. So not you can always look at it through two lenses. Let me see. That is 20. Wow. That is almost what, 6, 7 times what it was trading for initially. So Moderna made a pretty nice chunk of coin from this entire thing. Now, again, on board, completely just taking it for what it is. Why wouldn't they? They helped develop the vaccine that flattened the curve, that got us to where we are now, which is COVID is no longer being a threat. Or, or, there's the other side of that coin that says, so you went from $28 a share to 150 a share. Somebody made a pretty nice chunk of coin from then till now.
Two
We
things.
know who. That's the thing.
So 2020 was an election year. We're now in an election year again, right? 4 years later.
Mhm.
There are two things. So we always say it's two wings to the same bird, but the left wing always, always, always supports pharmaceuticals. Big Pharma they in Big Pharma's pocket. The
Mhm.
right wing supports the NRA. They're in arms, okay, guns. So whenever there's a Republican in office, we tend to go to war. We tend to take up foreign conflicts. When
Well,
there's a Dem in office, there's always something going on. There's a pandemic, there's an epidemic, there's some kind of health crisis. They're pushing welfare, like expanded healthcare, or they're helping to increase the profits of big pharma in other ways. So in general, 2020, when the pandemic started happening, we could have immediately called, oh, it's gonna be a blue motherfucking um, fall. It's gonna be a blue November. There's gonna be a Democrat in office because everything that was going on was increasing the pharmaceuticals, who then in turn poured their money into Democratic campaigns. Now, what's going on? War. There's everything going on in Ukraine. There's everything going on, free Palestine, everything going on in Gaza. So Trump's about to win this. And Trump is about to get his second term.
oh yeah, he gonna. I didn't even think about it like that. But even though
No.
Biden started this war, and
I'm
stuff.
gonna go on and call it, bro. I'm gonna go on and call it. Trump
I
about
mean,
to win
I've
this
been
shit.
called. I called it last year or 2 years ago. I said if he's able to run, he win it.
I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna blow both your minds real quick, and I'm gonna let you. Then we're gonna wrap it up. But blow your minds real quick. Um, the inherent problem is the Dems are just waiting for him to be pulled from the ballots. This whole trial, this whole everything, this wasn't about finding him because he got these morons that could pay his bills for him. This is about, hey, we found this loophole, we found these judges, it's in the Constitution in some obscure meaning way. You can't run for office anymore because you're responsible for insurrection. I promise you, somehow the Dems gonna pull something out their ass
They're gonna
that
try. It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, they've already tried, and the Supreme Court already said like you can't pull him from the ballot. So
Yeah,
I
so
just, you know, the election is going to be Trump
it's true.
or Biden, and what happens when if they try to pull Trump from the election, it's not an election, and then Biden has stolen the election. I mean, you can't do that. So you got to have two people on the ballot.
Oh, you do,
So
but it's not gonna be him. It's gonna be old boy Rubio or
No, it's not.
some
It's
other
going to
snap.
be Trump. It is going to be Trump.
it's
It's
going to be
going to be
Trump. He's the
Trump
only
and
one that
Biden.
can win.
Yeah, he's
He's
the
the only
only one
one
that
that
can
can
win.
win. The Republicans have to choose someone that can actually win. He's the only
DeSantis
one
is
that can
not
win.
winning. Even against Biden, he still wouldn't
Oh,
DeSantis, Rubio, none of them can win.
win.
Only Trump could win.
Trump is
yeah,
going to win. I'm
because
saying.
they lied on something to Satan. I mean DeSantis. Oops, they lied on something
They
to
don't even
Santa.
like him in Florida. So no. No.
But
He with Trump is winning
yeah,
it.
so 4 more
Biden can't even
years.
remember his last name, man. He don't even know his last name. So him running again, just he will just be a puppet. Someone will be telling him to do shit. And that's the only reason why I'm thinking why
I
the
mean,
Democrat
that's all
Party.
any president is.
Well, yeah, but now it's real because he legit doesn't know nothing. He don't even remember his own son. So he can't walk straight. He don't even know what day
Between
it
him and
is.
Mitch McConnell, I mean,
Man's 1,000,000 years old.
I mean, I said it before,
That's the
jokingly,
greatest
but
puppet ever.
only half jokingly. Just taking party affiliation out of it. You mean to tell me in 8 years, the best this country could come up with is two old white dudes? That's what you're
Tradition.
telling me.
That's tradition.
That's what you're telling me. Two old white dudes.
Tradition.
Like, at least when Bush one or two wasn't ancient. Obviously, McCain nor Obama was ancient. But you mean to
McCain
tell
was
me
ancient.
Yeah, he was.
you won 80? These cats
That's
is
true. He wasn't that old.
80.
But his health
So,
was also questionable. So
you mean to tell me in 8 years the best we can come up with is two 80-year-old white
It's the
dudes?
same
That's
people. Like that's what I'm
that's
saying.
what we
There's
got.
no left or right. It's a left or right or something. It's attached to somebody, so it's the same body. So why are we acting like they have different motives? Their motives are the same. They're just fooling y'all asses.
I mean, can we
God
get?
damn.
I really wish AOC would break off and be
Oh my
independent.
God. Oh yes, be independent. Don't if she's with the Dems, I'm sorry. She ain't for you, brother.
I mean, they rot.
I
That's the
think
thing.
her and Bernie are more libertarian than Democrat.
Then,
Right.
well, then progressive Dem is an oxymoron to me. You can't be progressive to be a Dem. Just say you just progressive. You by yourself. Be independent.
The two
Because
party system in general is broken. Like this party wasn't really. I mean, this country wasn't supposed. We were the system was established to break away from the two party system that Parliament already had. So they kind of got away from what the forefathers wanted in government when it became just Republican or Democrat because the Green Party's a fucking joke. The
Yep.
libertarians can't get the funding they need. So
Nope.
it's really about money. And there's Big Pharma and there's the NRA. What other organization do you have that can back a candidate? Oprah. That's it. She put Obama in office. And now she's under fire because of her Hawaii thing. So
that's wild. Like wow. I mean, that's a.
Hmm.
I never thought I'd see the day the world would turn on Oprah. I never thought I'd see the day that Kim K gets counted as someone of an ally. I never thought I'd see the day Kanye would turn white. Um, it's just some strange times, stranger things, man.
Life in
Strange,
marvelous times.
right? Stranger things, yo. Stranger things. Just like wow, I never thought I'd see the day where we don't have a Bruno Mars hit on the radio right now. But
Beyonce
we're
singing country music.
wow, yeah, wow.
The
Like
Matrix
that's
is breaking right now. That's all it is. It's about to be reset.
good glitch in the matrix. But all right, run it back. Recap, man. This was awesome. Taking it from the top. Let's see. Kentucky and the child support law. That's yeah. I just think y'all got better stuff to worry about, Kentucky. But what do I know? What do I know? But that's what y'all want to do. Okay, cool. Um, France makes abortion a constitutional right. Shout out to France. I'm gonna have a croissant and some French fries in celebration. That's what's good. Um, Mr. Aguilar, I'm happy you were free. I guess Black Fist Pump to Kim K again. But that's wild. You should never been locked up. So I'm happy for sure you were free. They're trying to get you life, bro. And the CDC said that COVID is down for the count and you ain't got to quarantine no more. Uh, yay, I guess. Because, some of us didn't quarantine to begin with. But yay for everyone else. You don't have to stay in the house anymore. All right. Who's up next for their recap?
Uh, um, it's me.
Um, um, I'm not prepared. um, yay, abortion, thanks to the French.
We
CDC, I live in Texas. We never quarantined. Uh, and then the whole child support thing for a fetus. Interesting legal premise or precedent that you've set there if you pass that law through the House. And I'm curious and very interested to see what other states follow suit. Mr. Aguilar Mendez, instant karma. That's all I got to say on that one. And I'm so happy that he's free.
Yo, instant comedy is wild, especially in the world's biggest John Lennon fan. Okay, sir, your recap.
um, yeah. Well, I didn't really get to talk on that topic, but we'll talk about that because we were left. Fetus getting child support for the babies here. Yeah, we gotta let the baby get here because there's no guarantee it gets here. Then we can worry about that. So yeah, let's go. Let's do that. But hey, back pay. That's all that matters. Um, France, oui, yay, man, whatever. Yeah, good for you. I'm so happy. Everywhere else should probably follow suit, of course. But America won't because it's not for business. Um, I don't remember how to pronounce his name. So I ain't gonna butcher it. But shout out to him. Shout out to the dead bacon. Love it. CDC. I don't trust none of y'all had to say anyway. It was all a damn lie and set up from the first place. So yeah, we followed the money. We saw where the money went. We finally got research on the damn jab, and we see that it's not good. Everyone getting heart attacks and arteries clogged and all that. And it's a direct link.
But you're not getting COVID.
Yes, you are, because people still getting COVID. Alarming, and the rates have gone up. And it's usually people with the vaccines. That's the funny part.
The vax people get it more often than the unvax.
That's what I'm saying. I'm living proof. I've seen it firsthand. Lived in close proximity and was around people that had the jab. One that might have had boosters, and got it.
Natural immunity is best.
Exactly. Take care of yourself. There you go. Stop pouring the poison in your body. We got enough poison.
Oh my God, that's wow. I'm just happy it's over. We can all go outside. Some of us are outside all the time, but
You was
I'm just
outside.
saying that the CDC has now stamped it and said, "Hey, COVID is RIP. You don't have to worry about it anymore. We're all good." Okay, so
It's over, Pride. I don't think so. It's not over, Pride. Unicron, is that you? I'm
oh
sorry.
my gosh. But yeah, this was a blast. This was a blast. The open invite, open invite. If you ever want to come back, Ms. Harmony, we'd love to have you. This was fun. Can't wait to get this out to the people. Um, any last words? Any parting shots? Any last things you want to mention before we wrap it on up?
No, I have fun. I can't. I would love to come back.
Yes.
We
And
take you
over.
up on, oh yeah, take you up on an offer for sure. Heck, if you know anybody else who wants to be a guest, that'd be as cool as you. If there is anyone, let us know. We put them on down. But on behalf of myself, my awesome co-host who happens to also double as my son most days, and our special guest, Ms. Harmony herself. On behalf of the Center Podcast, we will see you all next week. See you later. Peace.
You gonna find him in the home.
Peace.